Right. Welcome everyone to Sunday. I can't believe that we are here on a Sunday. That shows how much amazing commitment you guys all have, right? I know some of you messaged me saying that you've got to attend a church service, but then you will jump in on the call after. I love that. That's amazing. Some of you actually could not make it because of personal emergencies, but I think for the most part, we are going to just carry on. And today is a little different from the other days in the sense that today I want to also have it a lot more interactive. Yes, we're having the networking session with Hadimi and the rest of you doing the session after. But I think what is important here is let's look back at the last 2 days, which is day 5 and day 6, because these are probably the most important days for your future success if you ever want to connect with the customer, because everything starts with your customer. Your customer, if you do not have a good understanding of your customer, it's game over. It's game over if you do not have a good understanding of the way that you can satisfy your customer. It's over. Okay, so what I'll quickly do is I will jump on the slides, and then after that it's a very short class, and after that we will go back into your homework, right? There was a lot of confusion perhaps with some people saying, should I be submitting this, should I not be submitting this? The reason I left the homework as is because sometimes the homework is a big task, okay? And you might not be able to do that during the day. You might not even be able to do this during the 10 days challenge. Okay, maybe you might find some time after the challenge is over to actually go and do that homework. So that's why I did not ask you to submit it, even though I think it's very important. So please don't think that just because the action item is what I want you to post in Facebook does not mean that the homework is not important, right? It's still very important, and in many cases, it is actually more important than the action item. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to maybe talk about your homework, maybe share your screen with whatever that you've done, and we can actually talk about it. Okay, so let me just jump in first into my slides. I'll just quickly share my screen. We will quickly go through this, and then we will get back to what I call is the hot seat. Okay, so let us go. Just give me a minute. Let me get everything in order, and then we can get this party started. Right. Okay, so we'll quickly do a recap of yesterday. And remember, I spoke about the buyer's journey. Your buyer is divided into multiple categories. They are not all the same bunch of people who will buy from you, okay? There are people who may not even know about you right now. There are people who know about you, but also know about your competitors, and they are deciding, okay? So that is product aware. They know about your competitors, and they also know about you. Here, they have no idea that they even have a problem, right? So this is how you connect with these different 4 groups of individuals are completely different. Okay, let me show you another example of how you actually are able to monetize with someone. So you've got a stranger, right? So the stranger comes and comes to your website, for example, right? Or they've seen a post. But most often, you know, they forget about it, right? They forget about these posts because, you know, they see so many posts throughout the day, right? They see so many posts on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But if they're seeing you regularly, right, they might start to recognize you. So they either recognize you in a Facebook post or they are a visitor to your website, right? But it doesn't mean anything because they just know, oh, okay, so and so brand is there. Oh, so and so person is there. Ah, okay, I recognize this person, right? That's it. Okay. Then if they continue looking at your content, or they become your admirer, but they're admiring from afar, okay? So they kind of like you, they like you. But just because they like you, okay, doesn't mean anything, in the sense that, okay, they kind of like this person, it's funny or it's interesting, you know, they kind of consuming your content, they like it, you know. They might they might just then keep it to themselves, right? But if they like you more enough and they start respecting you, and they start thinking, okay, I kind of respect this person, okay? So there are many times that you may like someone, I'll give you an example, you may like someone, but you don't respect them, right? Can you think of a situation where there's somebody you really like, but you do not respect them. You do not see them as somebody that you would follow, or someone that but you kind of like them, you know, they're cool, or they're funny, or they're cute, or something like that, but you will not respect them, okay? So the next one is respect. Now, if you actually respect someone, okay, they can actually be like an influencer to you. So if they come up with some content, you will share this content with them. You will actually start sharing content with these individuals, okay, and with your friends and whatever, because you respect them. When you share their content, it you have a sort of a stamp of approval, right? It's sort of like you're indirectly trying to say to the people that you share it with, which is like, hey, I approve of this individual, or I approve of the content that was created by this individual, or by this brand, and here I'm sharing it, okay? So in many ways, when you respect someone, they already start to become a part of your story, okay? They become a part of your persona, your story, okay? And then, but still, you're not going to buy from them. You're not going to give them any money, because you don't trust them still, right? You don't trust them still. So when they come up to the level where they actually trust you, is where the money changes hands. Okay, so here you've got cold traffic, for example. You've just got a visitor. It's getting warmer and warmer, and here is where it becomes hot. Okay, this is the step where it actually becomes hot traffic, right? It becomes traffic that you can actually monetize. Okay, and then there's one step further than just customers. Okay, there's one step further than just them being customers, which is they become your super fans, or your true fans, or they become like, they really start adoring you. So they become your evangelists, right? They start talking about you in many circles. They are on fire, right? They become your army of salespeople for free, right? So in many ways, if you look at my situation, I love Apple, for example, right? And I love all things Apple. And for many years, I was a free salesman without having paid a single cent of Apple. I went around converting people from Windows, saying, hey, you know, why do you have Windows? Here, let me show you my MacBook. Let me show you how quickly you can do this. And look how easy it is. And people will go like, wow. And I actually started to convert a few people to start using MacBooks. Remember, when I started using Apple products seriously, was almost 20 years ago. Okay, so that time Apple wasn't as famous or as amazing as it was today. And at that time, the Apple community was so tight that if I saw another person using an iBook or an iMac or whatever, I would walk over to that stranger and say, hi, hi, how are you? Oh, great to see you've got a Mac. You know, it's that kind of community. When I was in, community building is so awesome, right? And it's not easy to build a community, and not everyone can do it easily. I remember when I bought a Mini Cooper. I bought that in Australia, and I was driving around, and I didn't realize, but the Mini Cooper drivers in Australia, they are really tight knit. So if you see somebody driving a Mini Cooper, right, you wave at them, and you say, you sort of honk at them, and you say like, hey, hi, you know, I noticed you got a Mini Cooper and whatever, right? So these people actually are in a different category altogether, right? They are your super fans, your true fans, they are your fans, they are adoring you. Okay, so the idea here is to move somebody from here to here, no matter what product you have, no matter what service you have, no matter what you're trying to communicate, but whether you're selling something or whether you're doing something for free, whether you're an NGO, whether you are a company that's actually just doing recruitment, right? How many of your employees in your company are actually your true fans who are actually going out and saying good things about your brand, saying good things about your company, and actually attracting top talent into your brand, right? So this stair step here is not just for selling a product, right? It can be in many ways, it is about influence and persuasion. Okay, moving on, right? Right, so another way to see this is, I call it the A, B, C, D, E, right? They are aware of the problem. Then they start looking for a solution. They start browsing online for the most part, looking for the solution. And then they start considering a list of possible vendors or possible products that can solve the problem that they were aware of, right? And then they make a decision. So this is where they exchange the money, right? This is where they say, okay, I'm going to go with X product. Okay, I've decided to buy an iPhone over all the other smartphones that are out there. I've decided to buy an iPhone. And by the way, Apple never calls its phone a smartphone. Everybody else calls their phone a smartphone. Apple calls it iPhone, right? Because they don't even want to, don't even want to be compared with another smartphone. Oh, of course they are a smartphone, but they will never say that they are a smartphone. They say they are iPhone, and iPhone is iPhone. It's a brand on its own, right? Anyway, and then after that, they experience the product, right? So in many ways, most people think this is where the sale ends, but really, this is where the relationship starts, right? So the sale ends here, but the relationship starts in this category right here, okay? So this, again, as I mentioned, these are whole modules by themselves. These are whole marketing strategies, right? These are whole, this is the backbone of many successful marketing campaigns, strategies, and branding, brand storytelling that you see today, right? From the biggest brands of all, right? So this is kind of what they do. So my point to you is that as the customer goes through their journey, they are going to go through certain challenges. Okay, so say for example, when I want to buy insurance, okay, I want to buy an insurance policy, I think it's kind of like easy to go into insurance, right? But when I start looking, I see so many providers, and everyone is saying the same thing. I get a bit confused here. And then I start looking at the fine print, the detail, the terms and conditions, and I really get confused, right? I really get confused, and I feel my emotional level is like confusion, and I'm really lost. Okay, I'm lost here because first of all, there's so many different packages, and once I started looking deeper into the packages, I realized that there are a lot more challenges. Okay, and then when I have to sign the contract, I have more challenges here, right? And many questions which are unanswered, uncertainty. Okay, so in all these situations here is the opportunity for a salesperson, an opportunity for a brand to step in. When I say step in, if you're doing B2B sales, you can actually turn up and actually call the customer, right? But if you're doing B2B sales, here's your chance to create new content. Create content specifically for certain stages of trouble on the customer journey. So this is true storytelling, right? This is true content creation. This is content, but not just content. This is content with context. And this is really you're really able to add value using these methods, right? So yesterday we also talked about the gap between your story and the buyer story. So your objective, and really your whole objective, right, is to actually slip yourself into the buyer's story. Okay, it's not trying to sell them something. It's trying to become a part of their story. So like Apple, many other brands are a part of my story. Many brands, if you look at it today, from the car you drive to the watch you wear to the maybe even the school that you send your child to. Okay, if you have school-going kids, many of these things, whether it is a car, a watch, a handbag, a pair of shoes, a particular brand of clothing, right? These brands have made their way into your story. So in the same way, you can, if you have a product, a service, or an idea, you can do the same. You can make your way into your customer story, right? So make your way into the customer story the same way your brands, all these brands that you are using right now, have made their way into your story. Okay, so that is an absolutely key part of understanding storytelling. It's not once upon a time there was a rich king and an evil queen, and one day she made a curse, whatever, right? That is storytelling for entertainment. We are talking about storytelling for results, brand storytelling. Okay, so exactly like I said, so here are the gaps. There are 3 gaps here: gap 1, gap 2, and gap 3. This is where you can insert your value proposition. This is where your story can merge. Your story can merge because you are also communicating a story as a brand, right? You are communicating a story. You're communicating your identity and your image, right? And you're trying to manage your reputation as a brand. Whether, I don't care, it doesn't matter whether you're a person or you're a product, but you still have got these 3 circles. And in many cases, if your company, and people ask me, should I focus on myself or should I focus on my brand? I don't know, should I focus on whatever? So my advice to you is this: if you are doing 100 million US and above, okay, then maybe you can focus on your brand and build your brand in a big way. You don't have to think much about yourself, okay? But if you're doing less than 100 million US dollars, okay, no matter how great your brand is, and no matter how beautiful your website is, people still want to know who is the owner of this company. Okay, so no matter what you do with your website and your company brand and everything, they still want to know, who am I doing business with? Okay, unless you're a huge brand like Coca-Cola, like HSBC Bank, like Citibank, like Enron, or in Indonesia, it's Pertamina, right? If you're a huge brand like this, or PT Astra, right? If you're an amazing brand like this and really huge, okay, we don't really care who is behind it. We don't really care who is the owner. I'm still going to, buy my Toyota from Toyota, right? Even though I don't really care, right? But if your company is small, if your company is not as a mega brand like these big brands, your personal brand really plays an important part. Okay, and it's really key that you not only manage your company brand, you have to manage your personal brand. And in many ways, I would advise you to actually focus on your personal brand first, right? Because people are far more connected to a person than they are to a brand. People are more likely to buy into a brand, to a personal story, than a brand story. And I remember, let me just tell you a little story. When I was in Electrolux, it was like one of my first days, right? And I went for sales training. And I sat down, being in the sales training with all the other salespeople. Of course, I was at that time I was marketing manager, so I wasn't really in sales, right? But I sat down there, and the trainer said, it was product training. They were teaching us about training, and the trainer started the session saying like this: you know what? it's much easier for the customer to buy from you than to buy from. Oh, no, wait. I think this is what he said. He said there are two ways. There are only two reasons why the customer will buy. That's right. He said there are only two reasons why the customer will buy. Number one, they will buy because of you. Number two, they will buy because of the product. And then he continued, it's far more easier to sell the product because of you than because of your machine, because of a Electrolux brand. And I thought to myself, this guy is, I couldn't understand what he was saying, right? I thought, this guy is wrong. Definitely can't be right. Look, if I want to go out and sell my product, right, I am nobody, right? The customer is not going to buy from me. The customer is definitely going to buy Electrolux because Electrolux is such a famous brand. It's such an amazing brand. They're definitely going to buy the machine. But later I realized that the sales trainer was absolutely right. It's easier to sell yourself than to sell the machine or the product because the machine is dead. The machine is just doing a thing, right? People buy from people, right? So people don't like, I would say like, products don't sell products, okay? People sell products. People buy from people. And that is the crux of the matter. So in many, many ways, unless you have built a brand like Apple, like Nike, which has got a human personality to it, okay? Apple is almost like we've got a human relationship with certain brands, okay? We cherish it, we love it, we celebrate it, okay? Unless your product has got that. And in many ways, this is what I teach Fortune 500 companies to actually get their brands, their products to be that level as Apple, as Nike, and all these other really amazing brands, right? Where you have like Harley Davidson. And maybe tomorrow, not tomorrow, the day after, I will actually show you how these brands actually do it, right? And what is it, how it works with story. There are stories, like all the brand stories in the world can actually be divided into only 12 categories, right? And I'll explain to you what those categories are. And it's important for you also to recognize where your brand fits into one of these categories, because then your marketing, your messaging, everything will be different because you will understand that. Okay, so we will do that on day 10 because that is already the advanced stuff. So I want you to first of all create your story, which is pretty much why I'm actually having the session today. Okay, so let us get back to this, and let's keep moving. So I wanted to make it a little simple. Yesterday, maybe you guys, I was maybe being too complicated, right? Problem, consequence, solution. So maybe I'll make it a simple thing, easy to remember. Okay, so in day 7, I've changed the model to another model, which is, it's the same thing, right? But it's called SIR, S-I-R. It's easy to remember, right? So it's pretty much the same thing. This is another model that's being used. This is the model that is being used mainly in the business world, called SIR. And it's used by Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 1000 companies, when they teach storytelling. When I do storytelling for the bigger companies, I use this model for the most part because this is the model that, for example, in a company that you need to pitch something, you need to provide, you need to get approval from a committee inside a big company, right? So they use this model, right? So this is called situation, impact, resolution. I wish I had created this model, but no, I did not create this model. This model is already existing. I just copied this model that is being used by big companies. My model is called STO, situation, twist, outcome. But maybe we won't talk about that today. This one is easier, right? Situation, impact, resolution. Same story. Where are we now? Okay. What is the impact of continuing without change, and how our solution can help? Okay, it's very simple, very easy. SIR, easy to remember. If you want to, I've added something else to SIR, call it the OSIRA framework, which is have an opening, have a bold opening, because today people are very busy. So you need to have something that will catch their attention and hold that attention throughout. And at the end of your SIR, SIR, you need to have action, right? You need to get them to say, okay, fill up this form. If it's a product, buy this product. If you're an NGO and you're looking for support, sign this petition, right? Whatever that you're doing, you need this action. So OSIRA is what I call it, but really all you have to remember is SIR, okay? Situation, impact, resolution. Easy, easy, easy. Okay, now let us get to some stuff, okay? We are, okay. Actually, before that, let me just talk about, I've been meaning to talk to you guys about this. This thing is with Gary Vee. I'm going to play it very briefly, and just present this. 1 second. Okay. So what I want to share with you is this clip by Gary Vee. It was on a live call that Gary did just at the start of the quarantine, at the pretty much 1 or 2 weeks into the lockdown period in the US, right? When New York was getting into lockdown. And so it happened, I would say, last month. And so he's having these calls, and all these people were having challenges. And there was one of these ladies who actually called, and I thought it was very interesting because she actually used to work, or rather her family runs a restaurant, right? Her family runs a restaurant in a rural part of the US, and it is a family-run business for 67 years, okay? The business has been started by her grandfather, started by the grandmother, continued by the mother, and now the daughters are running it, okay? It's a family-run business run by women for the most part, okay? And she was saying, Gary, right now I'm having a big problem because of quarantine. No one's coming to my restaurant. Like, I don't know what to do. The restaurant is so small that they actually stay above the restaurant, and the restaurant is downstairs. So imagine it's like a really family-run business, right? And she's saying, Gary, what should I do? What should I do? And she doesn't have much of experience with Instagram. She doesn't have much of Facebook. She's not a brand. She's not got anything, right? So I thought this is a very interesting situation for a lot of us who may not have a large Instagram following. We've got a small business, right? Like, what can we do about our business? So, okay, so here's Gary's response.
I'll tell you the number one thing that I would do. I would try to put out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all of them. You have to sign up for all of them, and I know you get it, and you're on 2 of them now, and I get it's not natural. I believe in this so much. I think you need to do story time. I mean, your mom probably has fucking some real crazy shit. You guys have a ton of crazy shit because you're like living above the restaurant. I think you need to put out 100 videos of different stories about the restaurant and post them locally. I genuinely believe that it will lead to an increase in takeout during now, and it will build even more brand. Do you know how much good business things and good life things happen to me because people know I was born in Belarus, because they know I sold lemonade as a kid, because they know I sold baseball cards? Stories, the Bible, movies, it's all about stories. And I think while we're all confined right now, everybody needs to go into hardcore story time. You have a real blessing. You guys have real fucking stories. I literally think you take a fucking phone. First of all, you'll be happy that you recorded your mom telling 25 stories one day anyway. Do you know what I mean? I think it's story time for you.
Okay, so I think this is quite interesting for me, particularly because a lot of us, we think, oh, we need to make this perfect video, and it needs to be this or that. But at the end of the day, people are interested in stories, okay? And I just gave you a simple storytelling formula, right? You have a problem, you have a solution. And in between, you have something, which maybe is a twist, or it is implication or something. It is a story, okay? There's a bit of suspense, and then there's an outcome at the end. So what Gary was saying, that if you have got 20 dishes in your restaurant, right? You create a story about each dish, about how that dish came out, how the recipe, okay, how was the recipe of that particular dish, how was the story, or you can do a behind the scenes example where you go into the kitchen and you show the chef making the product, right? So there are so many different ways to actually get your story out there, right? And the important thing is, now that we've got additional time, we start putting out stories. And he was like, really seriously, like, go and do like 100 stories, right? Literally 100 stories. And they are, if you think about it, right? Each of your product, maybe a story with your customer, maybe a story of a customer, maybe a use case scenario, right? For example, where you use the particular product in a very unusual way, and you can actually create some content around that. So now it's storytelling about your life to make you more human. Okay, and this is where I want to go into the homework now, because I felt that my message didn't get across in the right way. Okay, for example, when I said, what makes your customer angry? Okay, so for the most part, right, you looked at it from a relationship point of view with your customer. Okay, so in many ways, a lot of you thought to yourself, okay, I think what Indran is asking me is, what makes the customer angry with me? Okay, what makes my customer angry? Or when have I seen that my customer angry? Okay, I didn't really want to talk about that. Didn't really want to talk about those mistakes that you did, or if the product was late, the customer becomes angry, or if they didn't understand you, then the customer gets angry. Okay, I was more interested in saying, what makes the customer angry at life? What makes the customer angry with their employees? What makes the customer angry with their product? What makes them frustrated with the situation that they are living in right now? Because, so that means you remove yourself away from the customer right now. Okay, so it's not about you and the customer. It's you looking very objectively, maybe looking from above and looking down at the customer's life and saying, what makes this customer frustrated? What makes this customer sad? What makes this customer happy? And how can I then see if my product, how can I massage my value proposition? How can I renew my value proposition? How can I come out with a new kind of messaging that will satisfy, that will connect with the customer? Okay, you hear so many bits of news, you hear so much of stuff that's coming in, but not everything hits you, not everything you feel for. Like I said, what is your favorite movie? We watch a lot of movies, but there are some movies which, wow, we really feel it. Why? Okay, four people, like four of your friends, like you've all gone to a movie with friends, I'm sure, right? So like four of you can walk into a movie theater, watch the same movie, but when you come out, you've got four different opinions, right? One of you might say, oh, that movie was horrible, and the other person say, no, I cried, So why is that happening? That's because of your story that's within you and how it resonates with your story, with your perception, with what they call the world view, right? We use stories to make sense of the world around us, right? So when a story and with another story resonates with our story, then we feel that connection. Okay, so right now, your buyer, your customer, your potential customer, your prospect, whatever you call it, right? At the end of the day, that is a human, okay? And that human is trying to make sense of the world around him or her, okay? And sometimes if they cannot get what they want, they get angry. If their hopes, their dreams are not fulfilled, they feel frustrated, they feel sad, they feel disappointed, they feel a gap. If what they want which is the pain that they have, is not healed, is an open wound, it's the wound is bleeding, they need something to come and stop the bleeding. They need that urgently. Can you be that band-aid? Can you be that plaster? Can you be the help that they need to solve their problem, right? So that's why the exercise I did, especially for day 5, which, day 5, let me just recap, right? Let me just recap, and later I'm going to open this class to everyone, okay? And for those of you who are ready to share your homework, now's the time to start getting it ready, okay? Because I want, today is like the hot seat, okay? I want to actually start, let me just share my screen, just give me a minute. Share screen, here we are, okay. Right, so I wanted to ask you, right? If you have answered these questions and you are feeling confident enough to actually share, because here we're all here to learn, okay? And if you cannot move past this level, you will never be able to be a good storyteller, okay? You will never be able to connect with the customer. You will never be able to sell in a way that is effortless, okay? If you cannot do this part, selling will always be hard. If you cannot do this part, customers will always be running away from you. If you cannot do this part, you will always have a lot of rejection. Okay, this part is so important, and that's why I need you to master this. I need you to be a master of this. And I've got all the time in the world. It's Sunday. I'm not going anywhere. We are having lockdown where I am. So, I've got all the time. So if you are committed, I am committed, right? Let's get this started, right? Let's get you selling. Let's get you recovering your sales. But this is the first step. You need to do this, okay? And it's super duper important, right? So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm actually going to ask us, right? All of us. You can put in the chat right now. Do you guys have a particular question that a particular challenge that you had over day 5 or over day 6? Okay, day 5 was the fears, the anger, right? The frustrations of your customers. Day 6 was the hopes, the dreams, the aspirations, right? So do you, how many of you, I know you've done your homework, but how many of you were having a challenge, right? Actually answering this. How many of you are having a challenge? Because this is the time, if you have, I can unmute you and you can actually explain your situation and I can help you as a coach, right? So think about it, like I charge $1,200 per hour to my clients, to the big name clients, right? I am here for you. This is absolute bargain time that I can step in and step into your personal work. Okay, so now is not the time to think, what is people going to think about me, or I've not really done enough or whatever. Now is the time to say, step up. Now, one of you actually messaged me earlier and said that you wanted to come on the hot seat, right? But then there was a personal emergency and you messaged me and you said you can't make it today because of a personal family emergency. Okay, fine. But what about the rest? Right? What about the rest of you? How are you doing? How's the homework so far? Have you completed? Have you not completed? I know it's we are where we are, right? But yeah, let's get some feedback. Maybe start putting in the chat right now, so at least I can see what are the challenges, right? Did you actually attempt it? If you attempted it, what were the challenges? Okay, so put it in the chat right now. Meanwhile, I'm actually going to go through the Facebook and actually start commenting on your comments, right? I'll start to look at your comments in terms of what you said. Okay, so let's start with day 5. What makes your customer really angry? Okay, so I've got here's when I am not listening to what they want and not treating them special. Okay, fine. But really, like I said, this was more related to what makes the customer angry with you. And that's not what I'm asking, right? I'm saying, like, what makes the customer angry, maybe even with themselves, with the people around them, with their employees, right? With their spouse, with their family members, with the government, with the coronavirus, right? What makes them angry? What makes them frustrated? We want to dive down into their deepest feelings, because once you know what those feelings are, once you can guess, or once you, if you cannot know it, then try to guess it, right? Because otherwise you cannot connect with them, right? It'll just be like the many movies that you went and you saw, but you don't remember now, right? Your brand will just be like that. They saw it, they recognize it, but they're not going to give you any money. It's not like you're going to be your favorite movie, right? Your favorite movie resonates with you simply because of the fact that it touched a part of you. So if you really want to touch your customers, you've got to go deep, deep, deep down and be a detective, right? You really got to be a detective. You got to be, as they say, CSI, right? You got to do the CSI work to really do some investigations. Okay. I see other people have put, not meeting expectation, technical error, delay in providing response and services. No, I don't mean that, right? So I mean more about what makes them angry, and maybe I will just give you guys an example, right? So the example that maybe I can give you is maybe myself, okay? So right now, I am very frustrated because I cannot go out, right? I cannot go out, and I cannot go out, and I'm stuck where I am. Okay, I feel like I'm a prisoner. I feel like I am trapped in here. My whole life is actually gone upside down, right? So I am angry about that. Okay, I'm angry with the coronavirus for happening to me, for example. Okay, so if you know that, okay, if you know that I have got anger in that situation, okay, you can then use that as a hook to get me. So maybe the video might actually just say something like, are you angry with the coronavirus? Okay, here's 3 things that can actually calm your anger down, right? And come up with a content around that and make people connect with you as someone who gave them a solution, right? It can be something as simple as that, or it can be you saying, wow, you know what? People are angry with the coronavirus. They're angry they can't go out. Okay, I'm going to come up with a brand new product, right? I'm going to come up with a new product because I know this is what a lot of my customers are looking for. They're so angry they can't go out. I'm going to come up with an online game which they can play on their computer, and I'm going to charge them some little money for it, right? A very simple game. Or I'm going to take a game that is already being played somewhere else, and I'm going to get an affiliate commission for a particular product, which I found on eBay. I found this on eBay. I found this thing that could actually make people see how angry they are. It's something like a little device where it tests your heart rate. I'm actually going to sell this to them so that I'm going to tell them about their anger, the cause of their anger, the implication of their anger, the implication of them being angry, and then I'm going to give them a resolution, right? SIR, in terms of the situation, then the implication of them being angry, and then the resolution. I'm going to give them a product that can actually make them less angry. Maybe even something like that, right? There's so many different ways for you to use this information, right? But for the most part, it will give you an understanding. So those of you who know people really well, like your mother really well, hopefully, your mother, your father, right? Your siblings, or you might know your other loved ones, right? Whether it's your spouse or your children, if you have them, right? Or your partner, right? So now see how you know them compared to how you know someone at work, or someone like you may know them closer than you know the other, right? So very important here for you to understand. Okay, I see a message here. Some of them are frustrated because they cannot claim their funding to the company because of no event they can do. Madeline, what I'll do is I will unmute you and oh, I don't, there we are. Haha, are you ready? Are you ready to be unmuted and say hi? Okay, never mind. Okay, then type in the chat because I don't understand, Madeline. I don't understand your question. You're saying they cannot claim their funding because no event they can do. So that what you're saying is, are they event organizer? Do they do events? I don't understand sign language. Can you type?
Okay. Okay. Maybe I can explain.
Yeah.
No, they're not event organizer. Like they are corporate, and they used to create things like uh, event, congress, or mice like that.
Yes.
But
Yes.
this time, like this morning, I just received the mail from them that they are really disappointed because they cannot do any event, so they cannot claim for the fund. Actually, there are lots of events before they have to pay,
Right.
and then the money must come. So they just
Okay. So let me understand this.
manage the funding. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
Thank you.
let me understand what you're trying to say, right? So from what I understand is you're saying that first of all they were doing a lot of events before, they can't do those events. Number one. Number two is they even the money that was supposed to be collected from the previous events, from for example from their supplier or from the vendor or whatever, right? That payment is stopped, right? So they're kind of stuck. Is that what you're saying? Okay, wonderful. This is a great, great insight that you can have, right? So, can I just understand from you what is your relationship with this customer? What tell us a little bit what you do and how you serve this customer.
Actually, I'm in tourism business, so I'm doing operation for their mice. And yeah,
specifically, what do you do for them? Like operation, like what you run the event for them?
Yeah. For example, there are companies, and those companies, like they are making like visiting other cities, and then making like meetings or event, and then I create for I manage for the tickets, hotels, event, and many about tour and everything. I'm like an event organizer, but in tourism, and many of them are my clients, and they give me many groups before, many events before, and now they are disappointed because they cannot even do a thing.
Okay, so I see what I think I see. So basically they are an event organizer by themselves and they subcontract the job to you. So
no, they are corporate. I mean, the event is for their companies.
Okay, right. I understand. Okay, so I understand. Okay, I understand. So maybe they're doing manufacturing, their factory, they're different industries, right? All different industries. They are corporate, big companies. But when they need these events, when they need to go to different cities, they use you. Okay, I get it. Right. So they can't do events, and because they can't do events, you can't earn money. Is that right?
Yes, and also they cannot funding themselves.
Yeah, they can't send their employees for this, for example. So in many ways, it is like some of the training providers are also having a similar challenge as you, for example, right? So they do this. Have you heard of this thing called family day or team building, where people go out and they do a lot of activities? They go into the jungle maybe, or they go to a beach or whatever, right? Okay, so they're called team building. They are called team building. Okay, and a lot of companies now cannot do team building because they have this challenge. Okay, they have this particular challenge of everybody must do social distancing, they must stay away, and they cannot come in the same room. So how do you do team building? Because you have to, sometimes you have to even touch each other, right? Or you have to stay very close. Okay, so what is the solution to this, right? What is the solution to this? So one of the things that these team building guys used to do is something called treasure hunt, okay, where you drive around in a car and you look for clues, right? And try to find the clues, and those people, the team or the car that wins will be the one that found the most clues, and it's a really amazing thing because all the team work together, right? But how do you do now? How do you fix this, right? Because we absolutely cannot drive around because there is a restriction of movement, and we can't even all sit 4 people in a car. You got to be just one person, one car, right? So what these people did was, again, because they knew of this frustration, right? They knew of the customer is angry about this. They started thinking like, okay, how can we solve this challenge? Because we know the customer is upset. So you know what they did? They actually started a treasure hunt, but using Google Maps, right? So it's the same team building, it's the same bonding, it's the same thing, but they did it with Google Maps. So the clues, you have to use Google Maps to go in. Everyone stays in their own homes. As long as they got internet connection, they are able to go and join with their particular teams, and they connect with each other on WhatsApp or whatever, their own little groups of teams, and then they elect a team leader, and then they do it, and they go ahead and they are able to create stuff online. Okay, this is one example. Another one where it's a lot more ambitious, because you cannot do it as a one-man show. Like the team building one I showed you, you can do it. Even you, Madeline, you can actually start doing that. You can say, hey, you know what? You guys got no money, right? No problem. Don't have to pay me now, or you pay me only a small amount now. You can pay me the rest later, but I will do an event for you guys, but online event. And we will do a team building. We will do like a virtual tour of the different countries, and it is the agenda, right? Be creative. Right now is your time to be creative. Okay, that's one example. The other one is where they said, okay, they looked at the trends right now where online gaming is so high, right? So they said, okay, what about we create a virtual reality game. So for example, it's something like secondlife.com. I don't know whether you're familiar with secondlife.com, secondlife.com, right? So you can actually take your people on a virtual tour so you can actually, they have this thing where you can create an island. Okay, you can, secondlife.com, it's a free, if I'm not mistaken, it's still free. And you actually create your own virtual company or your virtual situation, and then you invite people to come in and you interact with them through avatars, right? So you can do a variety of things like that, and you can create online worlds, right? And this is something which right now they're so bored, they're staying at home, they got no money, or maybe they have a little bit of money. If they're large corporates, I don't mind to say, pay me later, right? Because I know the company, after this coronavirus problem, chances are the company will still be around. So if they've signed a contract to pay you, they will still pay you, but maybe they'll pay you late, okay? Because they've got to get through the approvals. But if it's a small company, I don't know whether I will do it and say, pay me later, because I don't know what's going to happen to that company, right? So it's up to you to see what's your level of trust. If they can pay or they can't pay. But my idea is start doing something, because no one else is doing it. So you'll get a very fast name. You will get a very quick branding with people, and make it viral, because you say, okay, I've got a free and I've got a paid. So get them on the free, right? And especially if they're HR managers, if they are the people that are, I don't know who is the one involved. Maybe there might be the administrative manager who does the bookings, right? So maybe the admin managers of all the companies, reach out to them and say, hey, I've got this new thing, right? Come for the first day, it's free. After that, if you want, we can talk about this different price, but let them do a sample, right? Let them come in and show them amazing value and do something exciting. Okay, I see another one from Armin. Most of our B2B clients are angry because the sales are really bad and they have to lay off some of their employees. Okay. Yes. So in this case, they have to lay off the employees. So this is the time to actually say to them, if you know, Armin, if you know that your situation is this bad, now is your time to actually step in and say, hey, here are some strategies for laying off employees. Do you know that there's a counseling? Go and do some homework, right? Say there are some coaches who do counseling. Here are some strategies to make the process more easy, right? Now is your chance to build relationship with them, because they are really going through a difficult time. They've never experienced this before, right? The key here is people buy from people, okay? Products don't sell products. Products don't sell products. People sell products. So they're going to buy from you. Okay, so maybe right now they're having a challenge. Okay, so I want you to think short term, Armin, but I also want you to think long term. Okay, think about this. Just say, okay, let's just say worst case scenario. Okay, all your customers, worst case. Okay, I hope it never happens, but worst case scenario, every single one of your customers, okay, in 3 months is going bankrupt. Okay, that means that's it, game over. The whole industry is gone. Okay, just say, right? I hope it doesn't happen, but let's just say, okay, what's going to happen? Think about it. Like, what's going to happen, right? Now you've been working so hard. You've been working so hard to communicate with them, help them, and help them to solve the problem. But you know, for all that you did, 3 months from now, every one of the companies, they went broke. Okay, and you are, you know, in a problem now. Okay, but let's just fast forward another 3 months. Okay, 3 months from now, they all go broke. Another 3 months from now, those employees, they're not going to stay jobless, especially the good ones. They're going to go to different industries maybe, or they're going to go to different companies, right? You still have the relationship with them, okay? And when they go to a new industry, if you're keeping in touch with them, they're going to think of you because you helped them when they were really, really down, okay? People, you know, like I say many, many times, you remember people who helped you when you were down. And you also remember people who did not help you when you were down. Okay, so be the person who helps them when they're down. Use that, you know, try to help them to overcome this. Give them some ideas, and like I said, the ideas that I just gave Madeline, maybe you can give to your clients, right? And say, hey, how about this? Maybe we can do this together. And maybe I can help you. Maybe, and this is the beauty, right? You and Madeline, I don't know whether you guys know each other from before. Do you guys know each other from before? Okay, perfect. You are in similar industries, perhaps, right? Maybe you can work together, right? This group is there for the reason. So many times we have a group that comes in, right? And the group comes in because of me, right? You come here because of me and my content. You come here because of what I'm sharing. But after the group is done, after the training is done, you still stay because of the people in the group, right? You stay because you made friends. You stay because you made some connections. It's always been like this, right? You go to someone's birthday party. You went there to someone's birthday party because of that person who had the birthday. But there in the party, you actually met 2 or 3 people. And till today, you are friends with that person, okay? And this is what this group is about. This is what this challenge is about. You came because of me. You came because of something that was attractive about me and how I could help you solve your problem. But and that, I think I'm speaking for Hadimi now, who will take the networking session after this. But this is the opportunity for you guys to connect with each other, because, like I said, I only have a small little piece in terms of experience and knowledge. But in terms of all of you, in terms of all the years of experience that you have, in the mistakes that you made and what you won't make anymore, maybe you can even share with people, right? Hey, don't do that. I tried it before. It didn't work, you know, maybe, and I found that this thing works. Let me share with you, right? Especially if you guys are not in competing, not exactly direct competitors, which I don't think you are, right? If you're even if you're direct competitors, now is the time to say, you know what? I know we are competitors, but coronavirus has brought us together. Let's collaborate. Let's see how we can make the cake bigger rather than fighting for a small piece of a small cake. Okay, I have got Radin. Wow. Okay, good. Radin says my clients are angry. Radin's says most of them are parents, mothers specifically. Okay, they complete their child's vaccination program, but they are feel it's unsafe. Okay, I sell vaccination service here in Indonesia. Okay, you sell vaccination service. That's great. We make home service vaccinations. Okay, but maybe as a marketing coordinator here in my company, my real customers are internal customers who always tap my shoulder and ask me to provide ideas to sell specific vaccines because they are angry. Okay, so what Radin is saying, so there are two challenges, but maybe I'll take the second one, Radin, right? I'll take the second one. You're saying that your salespeople pretty much are asking you how to sell specific vaccines. People are not looking for them during this COVID outbreak. People are looking for influenza and pneumonia. Okay. Radin, what, can you give me an example? What vaccine specifically that you are trying to push that people are not so interested in?
Hi, can I speak now?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So we are in, well, full stock of HPV, human papillomavirus. Yes, the one that could cause
for ladies,
cancer.
right? For the most part, it's for girls, right? Or for both male and female.
Yes, it's actually for both male and female. You know, for male it could prevent genital warts.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so the challenge here that you're having is that most people are interested in the influenza and whatever vaccines. So that's doing really well.
Yes. So before the outbreak, well, HPV vaccine, though the vaccines that we try to sell now, it's our king product, I can say, because people are looking for it. But after the outbreak, well, nobody asking for it, for the HPV vaccine.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My quick question: do you have stock of the influenza vaccine? Do you have the stocks, enough stocks to sell, or are you having a problem? Is it run out or what?
It's starting to run out. Yes. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In vaccine industry, it's you know, the vaccine stock is very limited.
Yes,
Every vaccine. Yes.
I understand, because of the demand. Okay. So what you need to quickly do is, before it all runs out and then you don't have an opportunity to make sales, what you need to quickly do is start having an offer where you bundle the products together, right? So for example, you've got the HPV. So just for example, say 100, this is Indonesia, I assume, right? You're based in Indonesia, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just say the influenza vaccine is 100,000 rupiah, for example, right? And the HPV vaccine is 200,000 rupiah. Okay. So if they want to take these vaccines together, it is 100,000 plus 200,000, which is 300,000 rupiah. Okay. So now you can actually make a program where they only pay 200,000 rupiah, because if you look at your profit margin, rather than sell nothing, right?
Yeah.
The 20% discount or 50% discount is better than zero sales, because right now you come with cash, right? So you come with some offers to actually bundle the program together and say, because they're already coming, they're already taking out their, in this case, your credit card or their cash, or they already, you know, your medical professionals are already in the house, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic opportunity. It's like they call it upselling, right? It's or cross-selling. You can, these opportunities you can do. So usually when I buy a pair of shoes and the salesperson says, "Do you want a pair of socks with that?" For the most time, you know, I've already gone through all the objections of buying the shoe, and I really want the shoe, and now there's a nice pair of socks that matches the pair of shoes. I will say yes. Right? There's a very good chance, 99 out of 10 times, I will say yes. So my advice to you is, don't try to sell the HPV vaccine on its own, because people are not interested.
Okay.
Like I said, you need to look at what people are angry about, what people are frustrated about, what people are upset about, and try to solve the challenge around there. And then you do upsells, cross sells, right? So send out, now is your chance to say, while stocks last, we're having send a email blast to all your customers, and say this is an offer, and make it a special offer. For example, it's only for 7 days, only for 5 days, only for 10 days, right? You do these offers.
Okay.
Every 1 week you do one offer, next week you do one more offer, and another week you do another offer, and change the product. So the first week is the influenza virus vaccine with HPV. The next one is the influenza virus with another bundle, right? Do this program. So
Yeah.
that way, your customers will really understand. So if I suggest that if you're not doing email blasts, you're not doing WhatsApp, large scale WhatsApp messaging or Instagram offers, now's the time to start, right? Now's the time to start, and start doing that in particular. There are many other ideas, but let me just go to Aya now and talk about her. Okay, I'm in the B2B telco industry.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you, Brandon. Okay, in this crisis era, my clients are frustrated if the vendor's supporting partner price is expensive or can't make efficiencies so that they can't meet the target, rejected. Can I ask you, Aya, your B2B2C? Okay, Aya, can you just explain to me? You are actually selling what, data? You're selling encryption service in the telco. You're selling
Hello.
app. What are you specifically selling?
Okay, so I'm here in Indonesia as a global partner
Mhm.
from China Mobile International.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, if you say the data, yes, this is sorry, this is a data telecommunication. Yeah, we say that for the link international or the specifically in the data center or the cloud provider. So I have an agreement with Alibaba, AWS, or etc. Another cloud provider that will be sell to another company or telco in Indonesia, Indonesia telco or local telco, and they can sell to their end customer in enterprise industry like that. So I said this is the B2B2B,
Okay, I
not the
get it. I get it. Okay.
B2B2C. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
like that.
you're just one, if I understand it, you're just one of the links in the whole process, right? You're in the supply chain. You're just
Yes.
one of the links there, where you sell. You're like a wholesaler, right? You're a data wholesaler, if I can
Yes.
understand it right, and
Yes.
you sell it very cheap, but in very big quantities to your customers, who then break it
Mm,
down and sell it more in more individual, right?
Actually, it's not wholesale because it's another team in my company.
Mm,
Actually, I'm going to or handle for enterprise, but because in Indonesia, the brand, my brand of company, that's why I said that how the way to make a story from big name of company to
mm,
sorry, from the small name of company to big name, because actually in the around the world, my company is big enough,
mm.
but in Indonesia it's quite new
Yes,
because this is since 2017.
yes,
So the brand and maybe the infrastructure in Indonesia is not mature enough. So I will I will go to the market, to the end customer, to enterprise in Indonesia with the well-known local telco industry
yes. I fully
like that.
understand.
Mm,
I have helped many companies who are very big brands in other countries, but they are just
mm,
landing in
mm.
a new country, and they tell people who, you know what, we are very big, we are this and this, and the people who are in that country, right? They're like, who
Yes,
cares? I don't know you, right? I prefer to
yes,
choose another brand that I'm familiar with, even though it's actually smaller in total size. than your big company, which is big around the world, right? So I
Exactly.
understand that that's one of the challenges. But the other thing that you need to understand, specifically here, you're doing B2B, okay? So B2B to, for example, B2B to C, right? So in this case, you need to understand two stories, right? You need to understand the story of a customer, but you also need to understand the story of the end user. So in this case, I see that your end user is not choosing your customer's products because it's too expensive. Okay, so try to find out like what is the value proposition, what is the advertising, how are they messaging to their end customers, right? This is the best way you can help them, because when they make money, you make money. Okay, so you have no choice. You are a partner with them. So you really have to, if they are making a mistake in their go-to-market strategy, you need to step in and actually help them to identify where the challenge is. So let me ask you, have you spoken to the like B to B to C, right? Have you spoken to the C? Have you actually spoken to their end user, their end customers? Do you know what are their challenges?
No, but I'm browse or maybe talk to my partner about the end customer conditions actually, and then yeah, I'm analyze also for the Indonesian price expectations,
Hmm.
because I'm getting because this is pricing matter. My price is come from my HQ in Hong Kong, so that's why when we convert to IDR, so the price is
Yeah,
yeah is
I understand.
not me.
You understand, right? There are many situations where it's out of your hands. Okay, like many products are out of your hands. But my question is not about going back. Yes, you should go back to Hong Kong and say, can you give me a cheaper price? Yes, I understand you do that. But right now we are where we are, and you still have to sell. So how do you fix that, right? Even though you have a high price, and which your hands are tied, you cannot change the price because it's set by somebody else. But you can still
Exactly.
go back and look at, for example, because internet service, especially data, right, is actually a commodity. If you think about it, right, data is a commodity where everyone is offering data, right? But if you go in, you're in Indonesia, you go into the Indonesian market, right, you will see that you have got Telkomsel, you have got these other providers, right, who are cheaper, and you have got the different brands, and they all have different prices. Why? It's exactly the same data, and for the most time, but still, when you go to Telkomsel, they will tell you, oh, no, 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 ours is better, right? So that's where they are trying to add, they're saying, oh, ours is better if you are using this. So when I was in Indonesia, I first went to Telkomsel, but now I use Sinarmas product, right? I think it's called
Smartphone.
Smart something, right? Yeah. So so you see the difference is in terms of pricing. Telkomsel is way more expensive, right? But I went to them because they said, you know what, if you want to travel in Indonesia, and because I do travel in Indonesia and other islands, they said, you know what, you absolutely need to use Telkomsel because it's got the best coverage Indonesia wide, right? So they found a angle that nobody could challenge, even though they are the most expensive in terms of data, according to me anyway, right? And then there are other providers. So just like that, if if uh, if there are so many providers who are selling different telecommunications products B2C, right? Certainly, your China Mobile has got its own customers, but you need to get your story right, right? Maybe you're not focusing on the right target market, right? Maybe you're not focusing on that, right? I suggest you to actually find out what is your value proposition of your customers to their customers, right? That way, you will be able to understand much better how you propose value to them, right? If I know your problems, if I know your problems of your customers, I know much better how to solve your problems. Okay. Now, I got a message here from Travis. The economy is falling apart, filling unemployment here and there. it's like we're walking in a very dark tunnel, right? And so he says that his company helps people to digitally transform their business, which is a great thing right now, right? Because people are looking at digital right now. So, and help them to thrive during this unprecedented time. So this is a great value proposition already. Okay, we sympathize and empathize with our clients because we are all human. We believe what is happening to us right now is uncontrollable. It only takes a matter of time before everyone can bounce back and recover. Okay, so yes, it's true. And my advice to you is maybe for your industry, it is probably more maybe more challenging or not, because you know, when we started our industry, when we started a business as a business owner, we decided sometimes we decided what niche was a good profitable niche at that time, right? So I know somebody who started his digital business and he focused on medical professionals. Okay, he focused on medical professionals, and he focused on medical professionals that were not being served within a 15-meter radius of the city center. So that means he used to go to the small clinics that were outside of the big towns. So that was his, and he was providing digital marketing services to doctors and small hospitals that were outside the big cities. And that was his market. And today he's doing amazingly well because not many competitors in that space. And this industry is doing very, very well right now. People are going to see doctors more and more than normal. So he's doing well. Now, on the other hand, I know someone who actually focused their business on the tourism industry, right? On the hospitality industry. I know my companies are doing that. And now they are suffering. Why? Because my client who focused himself on the hospitality industry, so what he did was they do branded restaurants. Okay, they do branded restaurants where they come up with a concept, fancy, amazing dining, right? Amazing concept, and they go to the hotels and they sell to these hotels. Hey, we can actually do this concept in your restaurant, and we do a revenue share agreement. And the hotels were so happy with that. But of course, now that we have the MCO, game over, right? They cannot do that. So what did this company do? Did they just sit down and say, oh my God, we are in trouble? Okay, they said, okay, what is the biggest challenge right now of our hotels? What is the biggest challenge right now of the restaurants? What is their biggest problem? Okay, and the biggest problem is that they have people who are sitting down, who want to come, but they cannot come because, you know, there are these red zones and these green zones and zones that are having problems. So you know what these guys did? They actually started to do restaurant cleaning business, to desanitize restaurants and get them ready for their customers to come in, even for takeaway. Can you see? They actually morphed their business. They were doing concept dining. They were doing concept dining to five-star hotels, and now they morphed their business into restaurant cleaning. Right? They've gone into cleaners, so they got these cleaners, and they got and they said, "Look, we are the ones who can help you disinfect your business for COVID-19." Right? So we will come, we will disinfect your business. We've got the professionals to do that, and are they experts in this business? No, they're not. You know what they did? They went to the red zones where they were having these big serious problems. They went to the red zones and they found one good cleaner there who knew how to handle COVID-19. And they said, hey, partner with me. We will bring you the customers because we know a lot of restaurants because they are our customers. And we will partner with me. We will do a revenue share with you instead. Right? So all of a sudden, they got the best of both worlds. They got all their customers who are waiting to get their restaurants ready for COVID-19 and do the cleaning and whatever else. And they have found this person who will come and do the cleaning for them, and they charge premium pricing because this is not something that easily can be done. Not everybody knows how to disinfect a restaurant properly for customers to come in. And once the customers come in, they've got this disinfected by, and this person is all certified because this person has got all the certifications. It's not an easy thing. They are certified by the ministry, by the government, right, to do this cleaning. So that's what I'm trying to say, right? I think it's really important now to understand the pains, the frustrations of your customers. And then, and only then, are you able to jump in and do a session, to do a value proposition that will fit in with their story. Okay, I better shut up now. I'm 20 minutes over the time limit, and Hadimi has been waiting very patiently to get in. So I will let her take it from here. Thank you, everyone. Just for your information, today there's no homework. There's no homework. There is no action item. But what I do want you to do is go back to day 5 homework, go back to day 6 homework, and get started on that. Okay, and post in the Facebook. If you are confident and comfortable enough, post your homework in the Facebook and let everyone see it and maybe comment on it and maybe learn from it. Okay, and if you have any challenges, maybe tomorrow we'll also do a little hot seat session. If you enjoyed the hot seat session today with me, say yes. You know, type yes. If you thought it was great, type great. If you thought it was not good, say not good. And maybe you can give me some ideas why you thought it was not good and how we could improve the next hot seat session. Okay, great stuff. Okay, Hadimi, over to you. And by the way, I'm actually going to stop the recording now because this is a networking session and we can talk about anything we want, and it won't be shared. It won't be shared in the in the group, in this group video. Okay, recording stopping.